Not that long ago, Baldurs Gate 3 received its final major update, and I figured it was finally time to put together a proper mod pack for the game. Now, I know there are already plenty of videos recommending individual mods, but that wasn't my goal. Instead, I wanted to create a mod pack that feels like a natural extension of the original game, rather than a collection of random fan-made mods. Every mod in this mod pack was chosen because it fits seamlessly into Baldurs Gate 3, both in terms of gameplay and overall quality. If I felt that a mod looked out of place or didn't match the style of the game, I didn't include it in the mod pack. I also wanted this mod pack to be as accessible as possible. That's why every mod you'll see today comes directly from the official in-game mod manager, meaning the collection works not only on PC, but also on PlayStation 5 and Xbox. So whether you're playing on PC or console, you should be able to install this entire mod pack in just a few minutes. If you never installed mods before, don't worry, it's incredibly simple. Just click download, switch to the install tab, enable the mod, and you're done. Here you can also uninstall the mod if you want. And yes, this improved UI mod is the first that we are going to download because some mods needed to work properly. Of course, you'll also find links to every mod in the description below. With that out of the way, let's take a look at what I think is the ultimate Baldurs Gate 3 mod pack that absolutely everyone should have. This mod pack can roughly be divided into 4 categories: cosmetic mods, gameplay mods, interface improvements, and a few extra quality of life mods. As always, I'll leave timestamps in the description. Let's start with the cosmetic mods. By cosmetic mods, I simply mean mods that don't affect gameplay at all. Their only purpose is to make either your character or your companions look even better. Let's start with hairstyles. After testing quite few different mods, I ended up recommending the following. Probably the best hairstyle mod in the official mod manager is the Tufts Hair Salon. It adds so much different hairstyles that with this mod, it's practically impossible not to find something suitable for your character. The only downside of this mod is that some hairstyles do not support highlights, but that's the case with many other modded hairstyles, so don't be surprised. But that's not the only hair mod that I can recommend. If you prefer really long hairstyles, then definitely check out Tasha's Cauldron of Hairstyles and Tasha's Cauldron of Hairstyles Pack 2. Both packs contain some fantastic long hairstyles, although they are primarily designed for female characters. If you want something a little bit more interesting, then I can highly recommend Jerinski's Alt Hairs. Unlike the previous 2 mods, this one works great for both male and female characters. It adds a large collection of rougher, slightly messier hairstyles that fit the world of Baldurs Gate 3 surprisingly well. One more hairstyle mod I'd like to mention is P4 Bangs Everywhere. I absolutely love the idea behind this one. Instead of giving you completely new hairstyles, it lets you customize individual parts of your hair. For example, you can mix and match different bangs with almost any hairstyle, giving you a lot more freedom when creating a character. Now let's move on to face presets. Before I start recommending specific mods, I want to quickly mention something. Just like with hairstyles, you definitely don't need to install every single face mod that I am about to show you. The whole idea is to give you several high quality options so you can find the ones that best fit the character you're trying to create. For female characters, I can recommend Tasha's Cauldron of Faces, Lydia's Heads Dark Seldarine, Koralina's Aesthetics, both head collection and even more heads, and finally Mantis Face Preset Collection 1. I also really like the preset from Moon Head Preset. It only adds a single face, but in my opinion it's one of the better looking ones available. Unfortunately, there aren't as many great face mods for male characters as there are for female characters, especially on consoles. If you are playing on PC and want to create a male character, I'd recommend Faces of Faerûn, Z4hr's Heads, and Z4hr4 Hot Presets. For console players, however, there are a few options for male characters, but not that good. Toarie's new CC preset is a mod that many people like, but in my opinion, these faces look a little too feminine for male characters. RS Strong Heads, on the other hand, adds faces that look a bit too masculine. That's why on consoles I would personally stick to the Mantis Face Preset Collection 1 that I mentioned earlier. It also adds some faces for male characters characters, and even though I wouldn't call them my favorite, they're definitely one of the better options currently available on consoles. All the face mods that I mentioned look pretty normal. With them, your character will look good, but they're not special. If you're looking for something a little more unusual, definitely check out Lydia's heads, Servants of the Raven Queen, together with Scars and Horror head presets. Some of them look incredibly cool. You can give your character a third eye, a Joker-like smile, and plenty of other unique features that are perfect for darker characters. Regardless of what customization mods you chose, all heads, all horns, all everything for all races is a mod that absolutely everyone should download, because it allows you to use almost all the customization options available in the game regardless of race, meaning you will have much more face options available on every race even without any mods. Moreover, you can add horns for races that couldn't otherwise get them. This mod is great and I just cannot recommend it enough. There are a few more things I want to add regarding face mods. When choosing the right face for your character, don't judge these mods purely by their screenshots. A lot of mod authors use heavy filters in their previews, so the characters often look quite different in-game. I recommend downloading a few, spend a couple of minutes experimenting in the character creation, and then simply keep your favorites. Also note that all the mods mentioned above do not add new faces for half-orcs nor dragonborns, and if you prefer playing on these races, then you're better off searching mods specifically designed for them. Now let's move on to more customization mods I'd recommend. If you like using piercings, definitely check out Leicarna Piercings Crystals. It adds a huge variety of earrings in different colors and styles, making it easy to match them to your character's overall look. Unfortunately, this mod is only available on PC. For tattoos, I definitely recommend Lemon Tattoo Replacer packs. Some of the tattoos in these packs look absolutely fantastic. The only downside is that unlike most of the mods we've covered so far, this one replaces the existing tattoos instead of simply adding new ones. On top of that, there are 5 separate packs, so you'll need to spend a bit more time figuring out which one you like the most. I know that it's not super convenient, but at the moment I haven't found anything better in terms of tattoos in the official mod manager. The good news is that it works perfectly on consoles. When it comes to eye customization, I'd recommend downloading NPC eye skin hair colors together with Medusa eyes. The first mod lets you use eye colors and pupils that normally belong to NPCs, while Medusa eyes adds a large collection of completely new eye designs. Personally, my favorites are the glowing hollow eyes. By default, however, glowing eyes are only available for Dragonborn and Tieflings. If you want to have glowing eyes on other races as well, you'll also need Roxas Everyone Can Glow. Though keep in mind that this mod can add glowing eyes to some NPCs, which can be a bit annoying. But personally, I like glowing eye look so much that to me it's worth it. By the way, if you are also a big fan of glowing eyes, you might as well download Roxas Shimmering Eyes, since this mod adds even more cool glowing eye options. And while we are talking about character customization, I'd also recommend installing Origin Mirror Unlock. This mod lets you customize your companions with Magic Mirror. You obviously cannot change their faces, but you can freely change their hairstyles, tattoos, makeup, eye colors, and plenty of other cosmetic options. With all of these customization mods that I mentioned above, hear what my own character ended up looking. Looks pretty cool, don't you think? Now that we created our character, it's time to find them something stylish to wear. For that, we are going to need 3 mods: Fear Tailor's Camp Clothes, No Spells version, Faerûn Colors, and Transmogrification Light. Let's start with Fear Tailor's Camp Clothes. This mod immediately gives you access to a huge collection of camp clothing in just about every style imaginable. The nice thing is that camp clothes don't affect your stats, so you can completely change your character's appearance without sacrificing your build. The only limitation is that camp clothing has a fairly limited number of equipment slots. So while you can create some fantastic outfits, you won't be able to recreate absolutely every armor set in the game using camp clothes alone. That's where Transmogrification Light comes in. Transmogrification Light lets you change the appearance of almost any piece of equipment while keeping its original stats. The way it works is actually very simple. Equip the item you want to keep for its stats, drop the item item whose appearance you prefer onto the ground, cast Transmogrify, and then use the leftmost spell. You'll receive a copy of your original item, but with the appearance that you liked visually. It's important to point out that this mod creates a copy of the item rather than modifying the original one. The rightmost Transmogrify spell lets you delete any copies you've created, while the middle spell does the exact opposite of the first one. It keeps your item's appearance but copies the stats from another piece of equipment instead. The only downside of this mod is that it doesn't work together with Fear Tailor's Camp Close, and unfortunately I haven't found a proper alternative in the official mod manager yet. Still, it's an absolutely fantastic mod, and the fact that it works on consoles makes it even better. The last cosmetic mod I want to recommend is Faerûn Colors. With this mod you get a bag full of unlimited dice, so you can experiment as much as you want without worrying about wasting them. I personally use this mod in every single playthrough, because it makes much easier to create armor sets that actually look good together, even if the individual pieces come from completely different sets. You might have noticed that I use them every time in my videos about builds, but I think that's enough for cosmetic mods. Let's move on to gameplay mods. There are quite a few gameplay mods available through the official mod manager, but I only wanted to include the ones that I genuinely feel like they could have been part of the base game. I generally avoid mods that constantly remind you that they're fan-made. Since this mod pack is designed for a full playthrough from start to finish, I wanted every gameplay mod to feel like a natural extension of Baldurs Gate 3, not a completely different game. So the first mod that I really like and that also fits their requirement is the Mistress spell. This mod adds a huge number of spells straight from Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. That's exactly why I like it so much. These aren't random overpowered abilities someone came up with. Most of these spells already existed in D&D, which means they are generally very well balanced and fit naturally into Baldurs Gate 3. Another thing I really appreciate is that all of the spell icons match the style of the vanilla game. It might seem like a small detail, but for me, consistency like that makes a huge difference. Overall, I think this is one of the highest quality spell mods currently available. The next gameplay mod I absolutely have to recommend is Extra Encounters and Mini Bosses. As the name suggests, it adds brand new encounters throughout the game while also reworking some of the existing ones. The result is exactly what I want from a gameplay mod. Even if you've completed Baldur's Gate 3 several times already, you'll consistently run into situations you weren't expecting. It keeps exploration fresh without making the game feel like an entirely different experience. Another one of my absolutely favorites is Fate's equipment distribution. Honestly, I think one of the biggest weaknesses of the vanilla game is the lack of interesting class-specific equipment. There are plenty of equipment slots where you'll often end up wearing something that's only good enough for the build, simply because there aren't many alternatives. This mod completely solves that problem. It adds an enormous number of new items for every single class. What's even better is that these items aren't simply handed to you. Just like the vanilla game, you'll have to find them yourself while exploring the world. That makes every discovery feel natural instead of feeling like you're cheating. Overall, with this mod, each class receives roughly 30 new items spread across all 3 acts. Considering there are 12 classes in the game, that's hundreds of new pieces of equipment. If you're also planning to use Transmogrification Lite, there's a compatibility mod that allows equipment from Fate's equipment distribution to work with it as well. Everyone probably heard about the next mod, but still I have to recommend it. Of course, I'm talking about Adjustable Party Limit. This one lets you bring as many companions with you as you like. It's perfect if you want to experience every companion's story in a single playthrough without constantly swapping party members. I've personally tested this mod multiple times and surprisingly, I've never encountered any major issues with it. So despite changing something that sounds pretty significant, it's actually much more stable than most people expect. It's almost like the game was programmed to handle more than 4 characters. The next major gameplay mod I want to recommend is Unlock Level Curve. This mod allows your character to continue leveling beyond level 12. If you enjoy creating character builds like me, you probably know how much difference even one additional level can make. With this mod, you'll be able to experiment with completely new multi-class combinations that simply aren't possible in the base game. It also gives you a much better reason to complete optional content, because in BG3 it's quite easy to reach level 12 even before completing first half of the Act 3, so every extra quest you complete feels worthwhile instead of giving you experience you'll never use. Finally, if you think this entire mod pack might make the game a little too easy, I'd also recommend Tactician Enhanced. This mod lets you fine-tune the difficulty however you like. It doesn't matter whether you want to make the game a bit harder or make it absolutely unplayable, you can customize everything. Personally, I think it's a bit more niche than the other gameplay mods we've covered today. With that said, if you're planning to play with an expanded party, I would honestly consider it almost essential to keep the combat challenging. Now let's move on to UI mods. The interface in Baldurs Gate 3 is already pretty good, but after using these mods for a while, I honestly can't imagine going back. The first one is better inventory UI. This mod slightly redesigns the item icons in your inventory by giving different item categories different background colors. It might not sound like a huge improvement, but once your inventory starts filling up with hundreds of items, being able to instantly tell weapons, armor, consumables, scrolls, and junk apart becomes incredibly useful. Personally, I'd consider this mod almost essential. The next one is better target info. This one immediately shows you an enemy's damage resistances, immunities, and vulnerabilities without forcing you to inspect every single target. I'd say this is especially useful on consoles, where repeatedly opening the inspection menu can get pretty tedious. There are also a few other interface mods that I personally enjoy using. Better top bar, better tooltips, better containers, and better hotbar too. None of them are quite as impactful as the previous two, but together they make interface feel cleaner, more informative, and just a little nicer to use. And with that, our mod pack is almost complete. There are just a few smaller mods I'd still highly recommend adding. The first one is Tasha's Feats. This mod brings additional content directly from Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It adds a large number of new feats without making the game feel unbalanced, while opening up even more possibilities when creating character builds. Another small mod I really like is Starting Armor Enhanced. This one lets you choose your starting equipment during character creation. It's nothing game-breaking, but it's one of those little quality of life improvements that simply feel like it should have been part of the base game from the beginning. Finally, I cannot recommend Show Camp Night notification enough. Honestly, I think this should have also been in the vanilla game. One of the biggest problems with Baldurs Gate 3 is how easy it is to accidentally miss important camp events. Some of them only trigger if you take a long rest at the right moment. If you keep playing instead, the cutscene may never appear during your playthrough. This mod solves that problem by placing an exclamation mark above your character whenever there's a camp event waiting for you. It also comes with a convenient spell that lets you move the notification into your active effects instead, in case you don't want to run around with an exclamation mark floating over your head all the time. It's such a simple idea that, once again, it almost feels like something Larian should have added themselves. But yeah, that's the mod pack. You may have noticed that I didn't include mods that add completely new races or classes, and I did this intentionally, not because they're bad. Quite the opposite, some of them are fantastic. The problem is that they're also much more niche. My goal wasn't to create the biggest mod collection possible. You can use this mod pack as a foundation, so you can always add a few more mods that you like if you want to. And here I'm also referring to Nexus mods. There are plenty of incredible PC exclusive mods that simply aren't available through the official mod manager. I deliberately left those out because I wanted this collection to be as accessible as possible for both PC and console players. If this video gets enough likes, I'd be more than happy to make a separate advanced modding guide focused entirely on PC. In that video, we could cover Nexus mods, script extender, load orders, compatibility patches, and some truly incredible mods that unfortunately aren't available on consoles. I really hope you enjoyed the video. As I said, you'll find links to every mod in the description below. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.